Hey guys, and welcome to the Bayern View. Hope you guys are all doing well. Now, as you guys know, this player ratings thing is a thing that I've been doing and a series that I've been doing after every single match. I don't put it out necessarily on every single day, but I don't believe I've missed the player ratings. Good, bad, ugly, no matter if I've rated them the highest or the lowest. But this one, and then in this particular video, this is going to be my mid-season player ratings, mid-season review if you want to say. And of course, I'll do one at the end of the season, which fingers crossed by then we would have won, hopefully, the Bundesliga and the Champions League. That's the hope, obviously. But we'll have to wait and see. And obviously, I'll do an end of season review as well as end of season player ratings, so on and so forth. And obviously there'll be transfer videos for you guys and so on and so forth. If you go on to enjoy the video though, I know a couple of you guys have said I've been speaking too fast. I generally don't mean to, so I do apologise if I do speak too quick. But yeah, if you go on to enjoy the video, please smash the thumbs up button, hit that big old red subscribe button down below if you haven't already. Like I said, this is going to be my mid-season player ratings, so I'm going to rate up everyone from every single player from 1 being the lowest score they can get to 10 being the best score they can get minimum, and average score, so is dead, obviously dead in the middle, 5. So if I give them a 5, they've been mediocre, and they've been okay. If I give them obviously lower than that, they've been crap. Higher than that, so you hopefully you guys get it. So with that said, let's get crack-a-lacking straight into this video though. This is going to be a bit of a longer video, so if you guys could smash the thumbs up button, would would be appreciative, let's just say that. So we're going to start obviously from the back and push forward. So obviously we're going to start with Manuel Neuer. Now Manuel Neuer, goals conceded, 25 goals in 25 games, clean sheets of 10. Now the goals conceded figure looks rough, but Manuel Neuer has pretty much played the perfect season so far this year. The only thing keeping him from a higher rating is the fact that he barely has anything to do in most games, you know. But as you know, what Neuer does is the sweeper keeper. That his distribution is disgusting for a goalkeeper. It generally is, and he's obviously critical to Nagelsmann's plan and Bayern in general. To be perfectly honest with you, Nagelsmann 100%, but Bayern in general. So for me personally, I'd give him a 7. I feel like he, you know, it might seem, you know, 25 goals conceded in 25 games, but generally, you know, that's more than one goal in certain, you know, games. You know, he's obviously had clean sheets, so, and at the same time, you can't really just push it on Neuer. You know what I mean? It's, you know, the defensive unit is a unit. You know, that's the only reason I said it's a unit. So yeah, I'd give him a 7. 7 Ulreich I'm not rating him. I'm gonna rate him. I'm just gonna say 5. He's played 90 minutes and he's got 1 clean sheet. You can't really say anything about him. So he is a you know, not DNF, because that's a racing thing. But you know what I mean. Just straight in the middle. I'm not gonna rate him because he's barely played. But we'll move on to the fullbacks. Alfonso Davies, no goals but 6 assists, and arguably the most important player in the whole Bayern squad, and that's why I said arguably, because I know some people will be like, what about Gnabry, what about this player? Arguably, you know, it's all right for you guys to have your opinion. The Bayern View always keeps it comment section open, so you guys can have your view on the Bayern View. If you disagree on any of these single things, the comment section down below, let me know what you think, because at the end of the day, it's all opinion, isn't it? So but yeah, Alfonso Davies is arguably the most important player in our team. His possession on the ball, build-up play, speed, skill is amazing. It generally is. And he's just taken that fullback role and gone with it. He's had, you know, good games here, bad games, so on and so forth. But he's a young player. And he's also human, just like me and just like you. So at the end of the day, we're not expecting him to have 10 out of 10 every time. he's playing left back. You know what I mean? Left wing back, left back, whatever you want to say. He's not playing up the flank. So, and this video is going to be a bit of a longer video, like I said. So, Alfonso Davies, for me personally, I would give him an 8. I'm not doing points. Now, I'd give him an 8.5. I don't think he's a 9. I don't like doing points. I never have. So, I'd give him an 8. Omar Richards hasn't really played too many minutes, but he's had a very good season, I would say, so far. Obviously, you've got to remember this kid, and I hate calling people kid because I'm still young myself, but this guy, has made the switch from the the championship in England, which is a very, very hard thing because hard league because everyone's trying to push for that Premier League spot and all of the cash and glory in the Premier League in England. But he's done that from that straight to the Bundesliga. So you're not expecting it to be easy for him. And also, he's very, very young. And I feel like he can improve 110%. He needs to improve, but he can improve. He's done certain things well. He needs to improve on certain things. But progression. And that's all that I can really, really say. And eventually, I feel like he will be a top-notch player under Nagelsmann in this whole Bayern role and in the squad and so on and so forth. And again, like I said, he's young, so he's only going to get better. So yeah, for me, I would give Omar Richards a 6. Moving into Benjamin Pavard. Now, this one's controversial because some people hate him, some people like him. To me, if I'm being perfectly honest, if you ask me, do I hate him? No. Do I love him? No. I'd say I'd probably sitting on the fence. I don't hate any Bayern player. Generally, I don't. But for me, he just isn't going to be the man for Bayern. I feel like he is a good player. But in that, I'm not rating if he should or shouldn't be playing for Bayern. I'm rating what he's done this season. And I feel like at the start, he was very mediocre, but now he's building into it. So again, similar to Omar Richards, I would give him a 6. I don't think he can be below. I know some people, I generally don't feel like he's the man for Bayern. But at the end of the day, that's just one person's opinion. At the end of the day, we go with what Nagelsmann says because he's our manager. Simple as that. So yeah, there's that one, and there's Pavard. Sarr, again, similar to Oreg in goal. We've barely seen him play, so I can't really say anything. Just give him straight a 5. I don't want to give him a bad rating, don't want to give him a good rating, you know what I mean? So, and then the last fullback is obviously going to be Joseph, I want to say it's Joseph Stanisic. For me, I'd actually give him a 7. I think he's a very, very strong young right back. And, I feel like he probably is going to be the right back in the end if everything goes well for him. I know he's lacking with obviously injuries and so on and so forth. But, again, you're going from Bayern's youth team to Bayern's main team. It's never going to be an easy switch. You know what I mean? You're never just going to hit the ground running with that. You're just not. You're generally just not. So, yeah, that is just what it is. So I'd give him a 7. Like I said, now moving into the centre-backs, and I know I'm going to keep saying it, but generally, we're 8 minutes in, and I'm only moving into the centre-backs. I haven't done midfielders or strikers, wingers, or anything yet. And I've still got to rate Nagelsmann, so it's going to be a long video, but hopefully you guys are going to enjoy it. So centre-back-wise, we'll start with Lucas Hernandez. Lucas Hernandez was probably Bayern's best defensive player overall, in this mid-season break, whatever you want to say, which obviously makes him the team's best defender. And it depends how you say and you put out his position and his role, if you want to say. Not position, we know he's a centre-back, but I mean role in there. There were games where the Frenchman was the only thing standing between Manuel Neuer and a shot and goal. His aggression, his distribution, he's just a great player. And I also like the fact that he is playing on the side that he is playing on. And some of you might be like, what? That doesn't make any sense. But what I mean by that is, obviously, he used to play for Atletico Madrid as a left back. We've now converted him into a centre back. We obviously did it with David Alaba as well. and obviously then he did very, very well at centre back as well as left back. And now it looks like we've done that also with Hernandez, especially the fact that we've got obviously Davies on the left stick, so we don't need to have two world-class left backs, which I still feel like he could do a shift there, by the way. Don't get it twisted, I'm not hating on him 110%, I'm not. For a rating, I would generally give him an 8. I think he's been brilliant. Generally, he's been brilliant. Upamecano, he hasn't been at his best. I can't say that, but you got to remember this is a guy that's come in, obviously played under Nagelsmann before, but this will never ever be the same structure as it is at RB Leipzig, because we're not RB Leipzig, we're Bayern Munchen. So at the end of the day, he's gone from a littler team, no offence, people might take that offensive, but I'm generally not trying to be that. He's gone from, one of the biggest teams in Germany to the biggest team in Germany. Simple as that. And, at the same time, this guy was being linked with Manchester United, Manchester City, Barcelona, Real Madrid, PSG. Literally any club you can name were in for this player or looking at him in any sense, And I'm very, very thankful and happy that Bayern picked him up, because as I obviously rave on about him all the time, I generally feel like he will be the world's best centre-back one time in his career. Obviously there's going to be certain players that can stop that and be the best centre-back, like Delight, but you know what I mean. So take that as you will, but for me, Upamecano, like I said, he struggled a little bit. He's been a mixed bag, if you want to say. He's at certain times he's been very, very good. Certain times he's been a bit lackluster and not at his best. But there has definitely been games showing his highs, which which for me personally overtake his lows. He's going to have lows. This guy still needs to get into his role as a Bayern centre-back. And realistically, he probably will be Bayern's number one centre-back at one point. You know what I mean? Like I said, Lucas Hernandez is fantastic, but he is not a centre-back. He's converted there, and he can play there, and he's doing very well there. But Upamecano is straight up a centre-back, you know what I mean? So for me, I'd give him a 6. I don't feel like you can give him the same rating as Hernandez for me, so I'd give him a 6. Moving into Nicola Nicholas, obviously, he's still putting in good performances, even though he might be leaving on a free. We're still looking to pick him up, this, that, whatever. He's still a great player. He's still putting in the minutes. It's similar to Coleman, which we're getting to, in this video. For me personally, I'd give him a 7. And now some people are going to be like, "Whoa, you've just given him a better rating than Upamecano." Again, this guy has been with Bayern longer. He's obviously understood it longer. So I'm not hating. It's just this player, he can play right back, he can play centre back, he's versatile, and he's also been in this team a lot longer. So yeah, there's that. And then Tengai Enzo, I always butcher his name, so I apologise. Injuries have destroyed him so far, realistically. But when he obviously has, obviously all of last season was injured, and he didn't exactly set the world on fire when he did get given chances to play this year. But he's still a very, very good player. He's very physical. The pace, his passing ability is very, very good. I do feel like he can probably be world class. You got to remember, this guy is just 19 years old. He's still very young, especially being at the club, and especially being at this club and not going on a loan like some players have, and still trying to put in good performances. This guy Tengai is nowhere near any three those centre backs I've just mentioned. Nowhere near them. They're clear, but they're also very experienced, where he is still trying to get experience. But rather than going out on a loan, and playing 90 minutes every single time for a whole season, he's getting here, there, and every minute. And obviously he's been injured, so there's that. So overall, I'd give him a 5. I generally would. That's probably been the worst rating, but I'm not hating. Just say that. Let's move into the midfield. Wow, 15 minutes. I've got to get a move on. Right, so we start off with Joshua Kimmich. You know, he's actually scored quite a few goals for him, personally. You know, 3 goals, 4 assists for a player that's been playing very, very well. I can't really hate. You know, this is the guy that hasn't, I don't know how many games he's missed. Way too many. Obviously, it looks like he's got issues with is it a lung or something like that? Obviously, the whole COVID thing. You know, there's various other players in the Bundesliga and people in this world that aren't vaccinated and all of that. If he gets vaccinated, then that's up to him. You know, I'm not trying to bring it into this, but I know some people will feel that. So, you know, he's not happy with himself. You know. But something needs to be said straight away. He's certainly the best midfielder in the world defensively, if not best midfielder in the world in general. So whatever, people are gonna have mixed opinions on whatever because they will anyway. But he is, you know, we've seen how we have lacked in certain ways of our play, breaking teams down. Teams hitting us on the break. Look at that 5-0 against Mönchengladbach. Look at that. I'm pretty sure I want to say that he wasn't playing in that game. I actually want to check now, because otherwise I'm going to make myself look like a bit of an idiot, which I am anyway, so I'm used to it. But Joshua Kimmich is superb. When there's obviously been links of him moving here and there everywhere, because, you know, obviously him being one of the best players in the world, he's obviously going to get linked here, there and everywhere, you know, so I think I went too far, damn it. Give me a second. 5-0, right, 5-0 in the cup. Lineup. Oh, he was playing in that game. Okay, well, now I look like an idiot, oh well. You know, hopefully you guys understand what I mean, though. He's been out of the team, so I can't really give him 100% a rating, so I am going to give him a 5, and that's just because, actually, I'd give him a 6. I don't think you can give him a 5. I think that's actually a bit disrespectful, to be honest with you, because, you know, he still did get a couple of assists, still did put some in, you know, some big movements in that team. So yeah, I'll give him a 6. Makaroka, again, only recently has been given game time, so I'll give him a 5, and that's generally because of Nagelsmann. You know, it's not on his ability and what he's been doing on the pitch, because when he's actually been doing, got given opportunities in the last week or so, 2 weeks, whatever, he's actually played pretty well. So, you know, it's hard. So yeah, I'd give him a 5, but not because of anything that he's done bad. Then Leon Goletska, for me, has to get an 8. Yeah, an 8. I feel like he is crazy, generally. Like, he come in from, obviously, Schalke. He's bulked up, definitely bulked up. He's ripped now. But, you know, as the second of the 2 pillars making up that Bayern Munich midfield with Joshua Kimmich, to lose Joshua Gimmick because of the reasons that we've lost him, and, you know, again, hopefully he'll be back soon, but obviously, you know, it's gonna be hard, because, you know, you train with these players, and, you know, I don't think there's anyone in the world that really can match Joshua Kimmich for what Joshua Kimmich does. N'Golo Kante's brilliant, but he's a different type of player. You know, in Diddy for Leicester, very good player, different type of player though. Even De Jong, different kind of player. So, for me personally, that's probably what has shafted Goretzka. And obviously he's had his own problems as well. But, you know, he's fundamentally one of the best midfielders in his position. He's just not as good as he was last season. But again, look who we've lost. You know, I'm not trying to make excuses for him. You know, he still scored 2 goals. You know, 2 assists. Could he have played better in certain games? Of course he could. You know what I mean? And he's not even in the team at the moment, and we're still winning. So, you know, I would give him an 8 though. I feel like he has been good. Maybe I'm going too far. You can let me know what you think in the comments. We'll move into Talisso. Talisso, for me, has to get 7. I generally just, I love Talisso. Generally, I do. I know obviously he has his problems with injuries and that, and obviously it looks like he will be leaving Bayern, which sucks. You know, the day we bought him from Lyon, I was absolutely buzzing because, you know, I've watched him before for a couple of times for them, and he's just looked like such a good midfielder. It just hasn't worked out. You know, he's been with us a long time. He's in this particular video and this particular mid-season, if you want to say, he scored 1 goal, 3 assists. He obviously got past the job of fulfilling Joshua Gimmick because of the quarantine thing and whatever else. So, you know, it's you know, he's never going to be able to fill those boots, but he's done well to the point where in certain games he's actually outshining Leon Goletska. You know what I mean? So you can't hate on him. Again, it does look like he will be leaving, but no matter if he doesn't, whatever, he has put in good performances, and that's just an ultimate professional for me personally. All I care about is what happens on the pitch. We can be here all day, every day, talking about them wanting money and all of this and all of that. Generally, I don't care about that. Leave that to the people that do their job. All I care about is watching them play and hopefully getting the results. That's all I care about as a fan. Of course, you know, I'm obviously going to get into it because I'm presenting, or whatever you want to call this, on a fan channel, you know, so I'm obviously going to have certain things, you know, if Coleman comes out and says this, or this person says this, or whatever, you know what I mean, someone wants to leave, I'm going to have an opinion on it, of course I am, but you know what I mean. So yeah, I'd give him a 7. Sabitzer, again, I'm going to give him a 5. He's played, but he just doesn't look noticeable. He doesn't have an impact on the team. He generally doesn't. And it's not hating on him. I think he's a good player. Similar to Upamecano in a certain way. Obviously, he was playing a very, very good role. He was the captain, I want to say, for RB Leipzig. Very good player. Obviously, Nagelsmann's brought him in. Not mad about that at all. And I'm hoping eventually he'll be able to push push on and show that RB Leipzig, Sabitzer, because that's obviously the reason we brought him over. Nagelsmann knows him. Nagelsmann made him, if you want to say that in a certain way. Hopefully we can just get the clock ticking with him. Michael Costante, I don't really understand how he's still at the club, to be perfectly honest with you. And I don't think he will be soon. So I'm going to give him a 4 and just move swiftly on to the attacking midfielders. Jamal Lewis, why do I always call him Lewis? Jamal Lewis, is that a player? I always say that. I was talking to my fiance the other day. Sorry, I apologise. I'm professional. Generally, I keep saying Jamal Lewis. I think he's a player that plays for like Newcastle or something. Jamal Muller, Bayern player. He is... I don't even know what to say, man. I generally don't even know what to say. 6 goals, 5 assists. I don't know what to say. An 8, to be honest. That's all I can really say. An 8. He is just, you know, 11 goal contribution, goals and assists. You know, gives him there's a little stat here. Averages them out at 1.01 goal contributions per 90, which is insane when you remember that that Muller doesn't even have a fixed position. You know, at the moment he's playing midfield, he can play attacking, he can play on the left and the right. Future, 100% future. I don't want to spend too much time talking about Muslera, not because I hate him or anything like that, because I will literally be here for another 24 minutes just talking about this kid, because he's just gonna be absolutely brilliant, and he already is, so he's only gonna get better. So yeah, baller, absolute baller. Thomas Muller for me gets a 9 so far, and I can't really say anything, you know what I mean. 8 goals, 17 assists, just puts in performance after performance after performance after performance. The same guy has been putting in these performances for years upon years upon years, And you won't see him getting named with Kevin De Bruyne, Bruno Hernandez and all of that. You won't see that, because he just goes away in the shadows, pushed to the side. But his awkward movement, his positioning, all of it, I love him. I absolutely love Thomas Muller. 110%. So yeah, that's the midfield. Now let's get into the attack before this video goes to a 45-minute podcast. I hope you guys are enjoying this, if you are still watching. Let's get into the attack. So wingers, I'm going to start with Leroy Sané. I'd give him an 8. No, I've got to give him a 9 also. The thing is, like, some people might be just thinking that I'm just raring on, but I'm generally not. 11 goals, 11 assists, 1,816, and I am reading this off or something, minutes played. When he came, when we tried to get him a year prior, didn't happen. The levels that he was at Man City at one point were stupid levels, and it seems to be getting to that now, playing for Bayern. He's obviously back in Germany, obviously it's his home, and generally just, you can't really argue that he is more of a complete player today than he was at City, and he was brilliant at City, so put that under Nagelsmann as well. It's just so improved. He probably is our most improved player at the club, to be perfectly honest with you, and that's saying something with obviously Muller in the team and so on. So yeah, 11 goals, 11 assists is just stupid. Generally it is. So yeah, I'd give him a 9. Serge Gnabry would get an 8, I'd say, for me personally. He's a weird one to rate because he has had, obviously, issues with COVID. I don't know if he necessarily had it, but I know that there was obviously things going on with quarantine and all of that, so we missed him for a little bit. In the last couple of weeks and so, the last couple of games, he's come back. He seems to be back at his best, which I like. 110%. I want to see all of our players doing what they can do, to have the best Bayern team, because, look what he did to Tottenham, look what he did to Chelsea, you know what I mean? Like, this guy can fire on all cylinders whenever he wants. He is very, very, very good player. He's just not really been consistent in every single game, which, it is what it is. And there's obviously been this Rocco, I don't know what you would call it, where obviously there's this thing going on at the moment with his contract. I don't know if Nagelsmann's keeping him out because of that. That's all speculation, by the way. I'm not saying that is why, but, I don't know. So for me personally, I would give him, did I say an 8? I think I said 8. I don't know if that's too high. 7, 8. I'd give Gnabry a 7. I'd give Kingsley Coleman an 8. I don't think either of them have been as good as Leroy Sané for me personally. I think Coleman is such an annoying player. He generally is. Kingsley Coleman is such an annoying player, and the reason I'm saying that is why he get injured when he gets injured. I know he can't help it. But it's just so annoying. Like, of course, we wish players won't get injured. Realistically, the best player of all time would have been R9 if he didn't get injured. You know what I mean? And I didn't watch him in his prime. I was little at that point. You know what I mean? So I've just watched clips of him. But, disgusting player. Let's get back into the video, though. 5 goals, 2 assists. He's improved with his final ball, but that's about it. But, he probably could have more goals. But when he's needed to take it, he's taken it. Could he be better? 110%. Does it look like we're going to sign him? Yes. Am I happy with that? Yeah. Generally, I am. Again, I've said this so many times, I'll say it until the wheels fall off. We're not in control of the money. There's a 50 plus 1 rule, but it doesn't mean that we're in control of this and that. You know what I mean? So, yeah, that just is what it is. Tillman, young player, can't really say anything on him, so just going to give him a 5 and move on. I feel like, again, another player that probably needs to go out on a loan. I don't feel like he's ever going to push anyone out of position, but given certain game time, but what you're expecting him to do when he gets 20 minutes here and there, he's not going to set the world on fire, considering when he comes on, the team that we've just gone against is like defensively a rock and don't want to come out of their shell. So there's that. And then Choupo-Moting, I'd give a 7. 8 goals, 3 assists. Very, very good player. Says something here about Choupo-Moting got them the most goal contributions this season against an amateur side in the Pokal Cup, obviously, and his stupid decision to not get vaccinated has seen him missed the final 1.5 months. So obviously he's another player that hasn't got vaccinated. I don't want to get into this because this is a Bayern Munich fan channel. There's players out in the world that aren't going to get vaccinated, even some of our players, but there's people in the world. It's their decision. I'm not getting involved in that. And then the main guy, let's talk about him. The best striker in the world, the best player in the world, Robert Lewandowski, and now we bow. 10. 10. Nah, I think giving him a 10's a bit mad. I want to give him a 10. 9. 30 goals. 3 assists, from what I'm reading, by the way. I swear it was more goals than that. He is just the perfect number 9. I wish he was... Do you know what? I wish he was 25. Because if he was doing this at 25, we'd be winning so many more Champions Leagues. But he's not 25, and he's still doing it. Which actually just makes it even better, because a 25-year-old doing this is just one of the best players. This guy just gets better and better year after year, and it gets older after getting older and older and older. So you never get younger, trust me. So yeah, just a brilliant player. Generally just a brilliant player. 9 out of 10. That is it for my player ratings, mid-season player ratings. Let me know what you guys think. Sorry for that noise. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. This video was never intended to be a 30-minute video. Longest video going to be on the channel until we start getting the match watch-alongs going, which will happen one day, and hopefully sooner rather than later. But yeah, hopefully you guys have enjoyed. Smash the thumbs up button, hit the subscribe button down below, and yeah, peace out, and hopefully you guys have the best Christmas.